Good afternoon, everybody. Rajni from Sashakt Empowering Lives. So, today's video comes a little unexpected, but yes, it was so much needed that I could not help but create this video. So, here I am. Of late, it has been happening that I have come across a lot of people. I don't know, it's matter of chance. I've been receiving messages. Some of them have been trolling me also on my YouTube channel. And the fact, this debate between is hope and positivity wrong? So that's the video today. Okay, is hope and positivity wrong? Now, on the very face of it, to say a statement like is hope and positivity wrong, I mean, anybody will say no, hope is good, positivity is good. But when we're talking in context to a child on the autism spectrum, that is what I'm presently the focus of today's video is just that. So yesterday I happened to receive some certain messages on my YouTube channel saying that okay, you're spreading hope, but it is very wrong to give false hope to parents of children on the autism spectrum, because autism is not just what it shows like in your kid. Autism can be sometimes something where there will be no progress at all. The person wrote that there will be no progress at all for years and years and years and years and years, and there will be no progress. Finally, there will be no progress. Okay, so then a parent of a kid who is, a parent of a kid who is actually going through that and looking at your video, the parent is made to feel like they are hopeless, that like they're not doing the right thing, and that is why their kid is not improving, whereas the fact is autism will not improve. So this was written in the statement, and so the person was telling me that like through their message was telling me that I should not be spreading hope, because autism is not it's not always like what J is. Yeah. And so I gave it a good thought, and I thought this is my heartfelt and I want to put it across to one and all. Okay. I will explain what I want to say by means of an example. So here is my example, dear all. I have two boys, Jay Aditya Singh and Abhijit Veer Singh, right? The younger one is a typically growing kid. And it so happened that when my younger one was learning ABC, I think he took about 3-4 days, at the most, I think a month. When he was his age, like he was young and he was being introduced to the alphabet. So he took about, at the most a week. Not a month, did I say a month? No, a week. Like 3-4 days, a week maybe, that's it. And he learned. Sound joining came to him in 2 hours or maybe 3 hours, because he just figured out, once he learned these are the alphabets, this is the phonetic sound, and you just put the two sounds together and you say it. So it was a matter of a couple of hours. Okay, then 3 sound joining was a matter of another couple of hours, maybe a day or two. A week of practice, and my boy was reading well ahead of 4 years of age. Okay, same mother, 2 children. Okay, there's a point I want to make for which I'm talking this. Now, Veer is my second born. So my first born, Jay, who was on the autism spectrum, at the age of 4 years, I started teaching him numbers. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and the value of numbers. He learned the meaning of giving value for numbers at the age of 6. 2 years, he could not give me the value of 2. He could not stop at the count of 2. This is 1, this is 2. Okay, stop. No, he couldn't do it. He would continue and continue. So it took me 2 years. Yeah. And like I was just talking about Veer, I don't know when Veer learned value count. I think his teacher would have just, the play school teacher would have just said 1, 2, 3, 4, and all kids got it and Veer got it. Yeah. So I don't even know when he did it. Okay. Now there's a point, please bear with me because I'm taking some time, but there's a point that I want to bring people onto, for which I am narrating this vis-a-vis. Okay, this comparison. Now for quite a lot of people, autism and my jazz autism is like, it's a dream that, okay, my kid, if he's like Jack, that's all I want. I don't want anything else. Okay. So that's the perspective. That's the, like you say, nazariya in Hindi, right? That's the perspective of looking at it, that wow, this is how good it can be, although it can be a lot better. We struggle with Jay with a lot of things, but to a majority of people, it's like autism can look like this, and it's the same Jay where we have struggled from 4 to 6, not we, me. I have struggled from 4 years of age to 6 years, 2 years to get the value count. After which, of course, the value count did turn up and then things did change. Now, what is the point? This point here is not about Jay and Veer. The point here is, if Veer was my firstborn, yeah, if that was my benchmark, that this is how kids learn, do you even think that I could have been able to sustain, or I could have been able to continue for 2 years? 2 years, I wouldn't have continued for 2 months. And I would have closed the book saying, autism is impossible. It can't be done. And anybody giving hope, I would have hated it. I would have absolutely abhorred the fact that someone is trying to tell me autism can be good. I have worked 2 months and he's not, and look at my older one. My older one got it in 2-3 days. If he had to learn, he would have learned it in 2 months. It's 2 months. But no, I had no background. I did not have a kid. I did not know how much time kids took to learn. It took me 2 years. But are there any prizes for guessing that if I wouldn't have continued for the next 2 years, what would have happened? If value count wouldn't have happened, addition wouldn't have happened, addition wouldn't have happened, further on math wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have been where we are. Yeah? And all along the journey, if I compare my jazz journey to my Veer's journey, then I'm the most unfortunate woman. Because there is so much of struggle. And I don't know, how Jay is learning, or will he ever learn? Because I'm comparing apples and oranges. There are certain other areas where Jay's his innovativeness in the kitchen, we cannot even come close to that. That is his unique gift from God, right? How he can mix the masalas and what he can come up with, and how he can understand the taste and change the consistencies and stuff. I can't do it, I don't know. How he can play around with dates, I don't know. Although to my head as a layman, playing around with dates was not a very big thing. Because I cannot see the utility. That doesn't mean it will not have a utility, right? So similarly, when we talk about children, now I'm coming back to my point. If, sustaining the effort for 2 years wouldn't have been done, I would have been in the same brigade of people saying autism is impossible. But that was divine planning. I did not have a background to say, oh, this will not work. So for children where things haven't worked, I empathize with the parent. I completely hold their hand, and I understand that just like for Jay, even with 2 years he took for the value of 2 numbers. Yeah, now of course it's not so bad. But initially it was a very difficult road ahead. So for someone like my Jay, if it was that difficult, for parents, if it is further more difficult, that in 2 years time, the kid is not even, not 2 years, 4 years time, your kid is not even walking. Or the kid hasn't spoken a single word till 8 years of age. Then that feeling setting in that nothing ever will happen is very normal. I was blessed by God because I didn't have another kid to compare with. which I can do now because seeing J and seeing V, now I know the difference. But at that time I did not have. So the point here is, what is impossible or what is extremely difficult or what is not achievable, the benchmark and it all depends upon the perspective. Another example, if for one day my maid will not come home to clean the utensils, yeah, my life will be miserable. By the end of the day, I would drop dead. Like, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to look at the office and so much work. And my maid works morning till night, and if she gets one more house, she rejoices. For the little amount of money, she is willing to put in those extra amount of hard labor. Yeah, that labor, that one house ka labor equivalent to my 1 day of working if she is absent, can give me such a jittery day. And for her, it is a matter of rejoicing. She doesn't even bother how much hard work will go in, that she has to take yet another full house and do all the mopping, cleaning, washing, every single thing. She's looking at the money. The motivation is there, the hard work is not impacting her. So, how hard is something or how easy is something is a matter of our perspective, our thought. Yeah? I am not taking away the struggle that the parents of children with higher amounts of difficulties face. What I am saying is, it is the human model that when work happens in a technical way, it may not show up in a day, it may not show up in 10 days, it may not show up in 1 month, it may not show up in 1 year, but eventually it has to show up. Even the most severe cases, and we have some premium organizations in India who have proved that children with profound difficulties also have learned certain things. Yeah, so Action for Autism has got some very severely impacted children, and those children are doing a lot of things, although by the time they are like 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, they've learned those skills. I do not mean to say that every kid is going to be able to, go through graduation. Maybe some of the children will still not even make it to school. Maybe they will still not make it to school if parent is putting in so much of effort. But if today they are not even manageable by the household, yeah, and with work, they at least begin to cooperate with the person, the caretaker, the parent can die peacefully, that at least someone will take responsibility of my kid, my family member. If my kid is beating up his or her caretakers, then nobody from the family will take responsibility. Then what happens? So if I have to choose between two statements that, let's not say, let's not infuse hope and positivity in autism. Let's not say that be positive, your kid will do this. Let us say autism is not workable for some. It may be workable for some who, I don't know, they may not even have it or they have very little bit of it. Your kid has more. Now again, going by the example of my maid and myself, which is more? Which is more hard work? To me, working 1 day if she is absent is more hard work. To her, adding one more house for 30 days because she's getting money, extra money, and she needs it, is not more hard work. It's rejoicing. So what? I got one more house. So which is more work? She's already loaded with so much of hard physical labor and she's adding one more to it and she's getting happy. And I am not doing any physical work, and for 1 day I have to do, knowing tomorrow she'll be back, and I'm upset. Which is more work? How do you quantify something like he is severely impacted, she is profoundly impacted, this one is mildly, this one is borderline? Yeah, we do have the DSM criteria, I understand. But nothing stands in the way of hard work. So if there is a severely impacted kid who has a whole host of problems, then we cannot promise that the kid will go through college and stuff. I understand that. But will we still not promise that even some self-injurious behaviors or harming the family, or certain things which need to go after years of work, those will go away. That the kid will become a little more comfortable to work with. Can we not promise that? Hard work will lead to success. That's the end of it. That's it. So on that note, if I am saying, please put in the hard work, please learn the technicalities, please understand wherever you go and learn. But work with the kid. If he's here, he'll be one notch better. If he's here, he'll be one notch better. Anyway, the future of any kid, no one can decide. The future of us, no one can decide. Today I'm sitting here talking. Do I even know tomorrow? Future of anybody, no one can decide. It's not in our hands. But what is in our hands is to put the effort without putting a complete blanket on it and saying this can't be worked. Because for a Rajni who would have Veer for an older kid, 2 years of hard work was not possible on the value count of 1 and 2, who had her first kid do value count in 2 hours. 2 hours versus 2 years, I wouldn't have been able to put. Then to me, the definition would have been, it is not possible. And if value count wasn't possible, college wasn't possible. Yeah, very clear. So every story has their own ups and downs. Again, do not misunderstand me. I don't mean to say every kid will go to college. But what I mean to say, every single kid, and I promise you that if your effort is consistent, every single kid will improve. If there's anybody who's telling you that every kid cannot improve, certain kids will never improve, understand the same. Please go back to this analogy. Understand the same principle of learning in 2 hours, creating a benchmark in the head versus having to spend 2 years, which they did not do. Yeah? So on that note, may each kid win. May each parent hang in there. May each parent have the insanity to not curse themselves, but hang in there with patience, with hard work, with dreams, until they get to see the results. Whatever is in our plate, whatever has been awarded to us on our plate will not go. That's a given. Yeah? That is what God has sent our way. My Jay's autism will stay with him, but he will learn coping skills, which is what he's doing. Similarly, your kid's autism will stay with your kid, but your kid can be better. From wherever he is or she is, they can be 2 steps better, 4 steps better, 20 steps better. I don't know how much. It's not our job to judge, but our job is to put in the effort day after day after day after day, without beating ourselves off, okay? Without saying, I am the culprit, I am not doing the right thing, I am not putting in the hard work. No, don't do that. But at the same time, without giving up. Because you know what? Giving up is not even an option in our hands. Until we continue, our kids' growth continues. We cannot give up. Yeah? So on that note, may each kid win. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.